Hi, Matt Byer of Matt Byer Organizing with Decluttering Email Made Easy. So I don't consider myself a digital organizing expert. In fact, if a client asks for digital organizing help, I'll say we don't do that and refer to somebody who does. So how am I qualified to give advice on decluttering email made easy? Two things. One, I managed to keep an empty email box. And two, I managed to keep an empty email box because I follow my advice from my book, The Circulation Solution. If you're new to this channel, The Circulation Solution is a plan for movement in a series of manageable, reliable stages. Circulation prevents accumulation. My method for decluttering email is based on my method for decluttering paper in manageable, reliable stages. Those stages are running, sitting, sleeping, and dead files. Running files are the action files, files that you want to make a point of acting on. Sitting files are the files you just need to be able to find reliably. Sleeping files are the files you are keeping just in case and can be stored more remotely. Dead files have lost all value, either over time or they are dead on arrival. Discard often. I always say that before you begin any organizing project, you have to prioritize to organize. Decluttering email is no exception. Recognizing that there are these 4 essential stages to prioritize is a good start. Without this clear plan, the imperative to clean out your emails is about as effective as telling a child, go clean up your room, without manageable and reliable homes for everything in it. With this plan in place, you'll spend less time thinking and more time acting. Ever have a client or friend ask if you've received an important email? And you haven't because it's been buried under all the solicitations and other email noise? That brings me to tip number 1. Treat your email inbox as a to-do list. If you're not keeping a clean inbox, the last thing it feels like is a to-do list. But that should be the goal. As with paper, the fewer items you have on your task list, the more likely you are to act on them. So how do you keep your inbox minimal? The answer to that is in tip number 2. Keep a manageable, reliable place for sitting emails. I find there are essentially 3 places for email contents to go. 1. A paper to-do system where you will reliably act upon it later. 2. The digital calendar where you will reliably act on it, for example, a Zoom call. And 3, an easily findable digital file folder. No matter which of these choices you make, that email no longer needs to live in your inbox. Tip number 3, delete sleeping files. Okay, so this is where my email processing plan diverges a bit from my paper processing plan. Unlike my annual plan of graduating sitting files to sleeping files. You just give your sitting emails some time, and then they're automatically sleeping emails. You've kept them for a certain amount of time, maybe a year, maybe 6 months. You haven't needed them in all that time, so now it's a lot easier to delete them. Go to this Anytime button and see what you've been keeping for a year. For the most part, they will be easy to toss at this point. However, you might find some files that you may want to keep as a record. I find these tend to be records of when things go wrong, maybe even legal records. Since this is something that prevents this stage from being manageable and reliable, recognize it and create a special folder for it. For me, I have a Clients Records subfolder. If you recognize a potential record email during the running phase, then by all means put it with the other records now and save yourself the trouble later. These records are essentially sleeping files, but ones that you are keeping indefinitely. That's okay. Because by keeping this minority, it frees you up to comfortably discard the majority And finally, tip number 4, make it a habit. Email is relentless, so be merciless with the discarding. In fact, don't start with what you're keeping. Select the whole page for deletion, then deselect to save what you must. You should have just 3 clear choices. 1. Delete immediately what didn't make the cut, the dead file option. 2. Transfer email to another actionable place and safely delete, running file option. 3. Relocate email to a findable place in a folder, the sitting then sleeping option. Now you can simply respond to the manageable number of emails that are left. The best ways to keep a clear email inbox is to keep the goals manageable and reliable. Don't wait for a free day to clean out 5,000 emails. You'll never get it. Clean your emails out daily. I like cleaning out emails at 8:30 a.m. before the workday begins in earnest at 9 o'clock, but find a time that works for you. It's fairly singular focus work, but it really helps clarify your priorities for the day. For more easy organizing tips, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.